All right, man. Clap it up, man. Clap it up. Man, we here again, man. I.S.U.P.K. So out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General YAHANNA, the home of the truth. And we're here, man. We're going to be breaking down the Sabbath day. Anything involving the Sabbath will be discussed, excuse me, on today's platform, on today's segment of Practical Knowledge. We'll be doing an in-depth breakdown on the Sabbath day. What is the Sabbath day? When is the Sabbath day? What can you do on the Sabbath day? What you can't do on the Sabbath day? We're going to be discussing it all. We're going to give, of course, like the Bible says, precept upon precept, because like David said in Psalms 119 and 104, wherefore, how does one get understanding? Or that's Psalms 119 and 9, one of those, right? Psalms 119 and 9. Read that really quick, Baba Kashab. I don't want to misquote it. It's such a beautiful scripture. But this is what David said in Psalms 119 and 9. Psalms 119 and 9. And then we're going to proceed and go forth with breaking down the Sabbath so you can understand. Because there's a lot of misunderstandings out there. There's a lot of, false doctrine, rather, floating around, trying to beguile you Israelites out there and deceive you with man's tradition and man's lack of understanding of the scriptures, of the Bible, who try to teach the Bible and have no business teaching the Bible. We're going to go into this topic here, man. So let's go. Give me Psalms 119 and 9, Baba Kushai.
On concert.
Mm-hmm.
The book of Psalms, chapter 119, verse 9.
Mm-hmm.
Wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his way? By taking heed thereof according to thy word.
Right. That's what we got to do. We got to take heed to the word of the Most High. We got to take heed to the word of the Most High. Give me verse 9 in that same chapter. Psalms 119 and 9. Psalms 119 and 9. That was Psalms 119 and 104, right?
So that was Psalm 119 and 9.
Okay, give me 104. That's the one I want.
Okay.
That's the one I want. Psalm, that's a good one too. But this is the hitter right here. Because everybody think they understand the Bible.
Right.
Right? But there's a formula to understanding the Bible. And we're going to give it to you. Go ahead.
So like he says,
Psalms 119, verse 109.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 119, verse 104. Through thy precepts,
there it is.
I get understanding.
How do you get understanding?
Through thy precepts.
We get understanding through thy precepts. Read on.
I get understanding. Therefore, I hate every false way.
And we hate every false way. But my question is, how do you indicate a false way if you don't have any precepts to back up what you're saying? If you don't have any precepts, if the precepts don't add up and make sense, it's a false way. How do I know Christ is not a white man? Because there's no precepts to support so.
Right.
How do I know that I'm not supposed to celebrate Christmas? Because the precepts give me the understanding. You see? So what we're going to do is give you the understanding, precept upon precept. First, dealing with the Sabbath, right? Let's look at the history of the Israelites. Give me Exodus chapter 1.
Come with concert.
To understand why we needed a Sabbath and why the Lord blessed us with a Sabbath. The nation of Israel served hardcore, rigorous, cruel, evil bondage under a Hamitic nation, the Egyptians. And the Egyptians had us under servitude and treated us cruel. You see, they killed our children. They beat our backs. We built those pyramids. We built Egypt in the hot, scorching sun. You see that in the heart of Africa.
Right.
You see that? And Israelites were in slavery. And hundreds of years went by, and the Most High remembered his covenant that he made with our forefather Abraham, formerly known as Abram. So give me Exodus chapter 1, verse 13.
Come with concert. The book of Exodus, chapter 1, verse 13.
Read.
And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor.
To serve with what?
With rigor.
Keep going.
And they made their lives bitter with hard bondage.
And they made our lives bitter with hard bondage. Read on. Read through verse 14.
Kawakan, in mortar and in brick, and in all manner of service in the field. All their service wherein they made them serve was with rigor.
You hear that, right? The Egyptians slaved us. They slaved us with hardcore bondage. Hell, that's what Egypt means.
Right.
Egypt in the Greek is Egyptos, which means bondage. You see? Egypt literally means slavery.
Right.
And that's what they got out of the children of Israel, slaves during the time that we were under them, which is why Moses was raised up, which is why God raised up Moses. Now, give me Exodus 6 and 9. Exodus chapter 6, verse 9. Let's look at it a little bit more, give you perspective of what the children of Israel were dealing with for years, hundreds of years. And note this, we didn't get days off.
Right.
The idea of a day off was non-existent. You understand? It was non-existent. Go ahead.
The book of Exodus, chapter 6, verse 9.
Read.
And Moses spake so unto the children of Israel. But they hearkened not unto Moses for anguish of spirit.
Right. That was so defeated. Moses will go out there and try and give them hope and build up their spirits, but some brothers was just worn out. Some brothers were just utterly defeated inside, and they had to see the miracles that the Most High displayed to build their spirit up. The plagues that he brought upon Egypt to build our spirits up, because we were so defeated, so beat. Remember, Moses fled Egypt in the first place because there was an Egyptian beating the hell out of one of us.
Right.
You see? Having his way with one of us. And Moses, his zeal got the best of him.
Right.
You see that? For you know, better or worse, his zeal got the best of him, and he smote that Egyptian.
Right.
You see that? And he fled. But that's just an instance of an idea giving you an idea of how brutal that these Egyptians were. You see that? So the Most High, as we all know, we read Exodus, we just celebrated the Passover. You see that?
Right.
And the Lord delivered us from that hardcore slavery and bondage where we worked every day slaved every day. And then the Lord delivers us. Remember, Moses commanded Pharaoh, let my people go. And Pharaoh had a hardened heart against Moses. And Moses told him, he comes in the name of the Most High. And Pharaoh said, I don't know no Most High. And Pharaoh's heart was hardened. And the Lord told Moses his heart was going to be hardened. And yet it was.
Right.
And Moses said, let my people go. Let them go of what? Being slaves, working all the time, being beat all the time, being in bondage all the time, captivity. Couldn't enjoy your children. You see that? You can enjoy life. You was a slave.
Right.
We were slaves. But the Most High remembered us, and he delivered us with miraculous works. You see, the God of Israel. And he split that Red Sea we walked through on dry ground. The water stood as a heap to our left and our right, and we was delivered, brother.
Right.
We was delivered, blacks and Hispanics, Native American Indians. That was us. You see that? Now, time progresses. We made it out of Egypt. And Moses is given the law. You know, thou shalt not murder.
Right.
Thou shalt not steal, bear false witness. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Right?
Right.
Give me Exodus chapter 20, verse 8.
Sir.
Let's see what the Most High told Moses to tell us. Because there was a point where the Most High's presence was felt on earth. You see? Like when they were surrounded that mountain, brother, and they told Moses, they said, you go up. We don't want to, you go deal with the Most High and then relay the message to us. That's what we said. We was, afraid, and rightfully so. Excuse me. So, this is one of the laws the Most High gave us. Exodus chapter 20, verse 8.
Sir. The Book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day.
You got to do what?
Remember the Sabbath day.
This is one of the laws. Read on.
To keep it holy.
You got to remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Read on.
Kawakan. Verse 9. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work.
Right. Keep going.
Nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates.
Right. The Most High is set up a law. It's so righteous. He set up a law for the children of Israel to always have a day off.
Right.
You get my point? So always have a day off, because Israelites had their businesses. They had their, they had their businesses, and you had, business owners. You had employees.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And the Lord laid down the law because we were going to the promised land. We wasn't going to go into the promised land acting like Egyptians.
Right.
Working, your employees like how the Egyptians worked us. That defeats the whole purpose of us leaving Egypt. You see that? If that was the case, we might have just stayed in Egypt.
Right.
You get my point? So the Lord laid down a law, nationwide law, that you had to give your employees a day off. And that's what we're going to touch on as well. And not only humans,
right.
The Lord said your animals, give them a break.
Right.
Give your animals, give your oxen, give your sheep, give your goats, give, your horses, all your animals, give them a break.
Right.
Your cattle, your livestock, give them a break. They get a day of rest too. You see that? Is that the end of verse 11?
Sir.
Let me get Deuteronomy chapter 5.
Sir.
How righteous is that? The Most High gave not only the Israelites a day off, but animals.
Sir.
Israelite, man, you're not supposed to work your animals on the Sabbath day.
Right.
You see? Supposed to stop.
Right.
Go ahead. Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 12.
Sir. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 5, verse 12.
Go ahead.
Keep the Sabbath day.
You got to do what?
Keep the Sabbath day.
Keep the Sabbath day. Do me a favor. Look up what Sabbath means on another tab. Baba Kusha.
Sir.
Sabbath. Keep the Sabbath. Remember the Sabbath. Remembering is one thing, because we're a very forgetful people. We got to remember the Sabbath. It is a holy day.
Right.
It's not like day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4.
Right.
Day 7 is a holy day.
Right.
Right? Go ahead,
Sir. This is the definition of Sabbath. A day of religious observance.
Oh, where are you reading it from?
This is from
Go to the Merriam-Webster.
This is from the Oxford language. Okay, sir.
Yeah, no sweat. Give me the Merriam-Webster's definition. I'll tell you in the Hebrew. Matter of fact, you could drop it.
Sir.
In the Hebrew, the word is Shabbath. Shabbath, which means rest. Yom Shabbath, day of rest. The Sabbath day is a day of rest. That's what the Sabbath is. And when the Most High laid down the law, this what is talking about, which we'll get into as we proceed, is not working.
Sir, I got the definition.
You want to get it? Go ahead.
This is Sabbath from the Merriam-Webster's dictionary.
Go ahead.
The seventh day of the week.
The seventh day of the week. Keep going.
Observed from Friday evening to Saturday
Damn,
evening.
the Merriam-Webster went that deep?
Right.
Read that one more time.
The seventh day of the week, observed from Friday evening to Saturday evening.
Damn.
As a day of rest.
Ooh wee. And listen, that's how you know these folks know. A day in the Bible is calculated from sundown to sundown. That's a day in the Bible, from sundown to sundown. Not like in the oppressor's, way of explaining a day where, sunrise or 12 p.m.
Right.
12 p.m. is not the beginning of a day. When that sun goes down, that's the end and beginning of that's the beginning of a new day.
Right.
And the end of the day that you just got out of. You see what I'm saying? So Friday sundown, Sabbath to Saturday sundown, they say that that's the Sabbath.
Right.
So we're gonna see about that. We're gonna see.
Come.
Because there's other doctrines floating around that say otherwise.
Right, sir.
You see? We in the Israelite school, UPK, we know when the Sabbath is. The Sabbath is Friday sundown, Saturday sundown. That is the seventh day of the week. That's what we've been keeping since the time of Moses, brother.
Right.
You understand? We've been Friday sundown, Saturday. Well, show me Friday in the Bible. Show me Saturday in the Bible. Right? I got you. I'm going to show you. Right? Go back to Deuteronomy chapter 5.
Come, sir.
I believe you was at verse 12.
Come. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 5, verse 12.
Uh-huh.
Keep the Sabbath day to sanctify it as the Lord thy God hath commanded thee.
Right, keep going. All the way to verse 15.
Come. 6 days thou shalt labor and do all thy work.
Uh-huh.
But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work. Thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant,
Right.
nor thine ox,
Right.
nor thine ass,
Right.
nor thine any of thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates, that thy manservant and thy maidservant may rest as well as thou.
Hold on. That thy manservant may rest as thou. What is that talking about?
Right.
That shows you that the law of the Sabbath is for the employer.
Right.
Because they're the one with the control of the days you have scheduled and the days you don't have, the days you aren't scheduled for work or for labor. You see that? Thou and your manservant and your livestock. Keep going.
Right.
That's it on that? Is there more?
There's more, sir.
Give it to me.
And remember that thou was a servant in the land of Egypt.
And because remember, ain't this what we were saying earlier?
Right.
Remember that you was a servant in Egypt and you wasn't given no days off. So you have a business, if you have a storefront, whatever. You're not supposed to work, brothers. You're not supposed to work your damn animals.
Right.
On the Sabbath day, on the seventh day. That's the law. That's the law, brother. You see? Keep going. From the top, 15.
Come. And remember that thou was a servant in the land of Egypt.
In the land of bondage. Read on.
And that the Lord thy God brought thee out thence through a mighty hand and by a stretched out arm. Therefore, the Lord thy God commanded thee to keep the Sabbath day.
Now, why would he bring up the fact that we served slavery in Egypt in comparison to us keeping the Sabbath day? Because we didn't get no days off in Egypt.
Right.
We worked every day. And if you ever worked in slavery and you work every day, your little under the table jobs.
Right.
That takes a toll on you.
Right.
It weighs on you a lot. You don't have any time to go to the DMV. You ain't got no time to go to the park. You don't have no time to go to the dentist. You ain't got no time to go grocery shopping without worrying about, I got to get back home so I can take a shower and, get some rest, try and get 2 hours of sleep before I got to go work another 12-hour shift just to barely make it by. You see that? And that lets you know, give me Revelation 11 and 8. It lets you know where we at today. It lets you know that what America really is. America means bitter, by the way. And if you're a Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian, you're not foreign to a bitter lifestyle here in America.
Right.
This is a very bitter life. But America embodies the spirit of Egypt. I'm going to show you that in the Bible. Give me Revelation chapter 11, verse 8.
Come, sir. The book of Revelation, chapter 11, verse 8.
Mm-hmm.
And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom.
Which spiritually is called Sodom.
And Egypt.
This is the place where all the brothers and sisters walking around Christian and religious, and they're in a dead state of mind. They're dead. You understand? Without this truth, you're not alive. Without the breath of life, you're not alive. And you see, but where the place where it's spiritually Sodom and Egypt, we've seen the Egyptian side of the aspect of why this spirit or the spirit of this place is Egypt. From your Washington monuments that, shadow Egyptian obelisks. You understand? Your currency, all this Egyptian symbology, and America worships Egypt. And they worship Egypt the same way because the Egyptians and our oppressor today, Esau, had one thing in common. They had the children of Israel in slavery. Let me tell you something. You working at Amazon, you a slave. You're a slave here in America. You work at, no matter where you work at. We're here to serve captivity. Working at McDonald's. Hell, you a lawyer. You are in captivity.
Right.
You're a servant. You see? Ain't no getting around it. You got to pay taxes. You know what I mean? You're like, you don't have no say so whether you pay taxes or not. You try and file, and be, get around the easy way, and that's gonna catch up to you. Right? You're not free here in America.
Right.
Right? You're a servant, you're a slave here. This is Egypt. I ain't gotta go into this being Sodom.
Right.
I mean, damn. But we ain't gonna go into that. But this is Sodom too. Right? America embodies the spirit of Sodom and Egypt. This is Egypt, brother. The Bible tells you in Isaiah, I believe the 30th chapter, that woe unto them that trust in the shadow of Egypt. What does a shadow do? Mimic the real thing. America is the shadow of Egypt. America wants to be Egypt. You understand? It's going to be Egypt, all right. It's going to be one big desert. That's all I get. Give me Exodus chapter 31, verse 13. So now we're understanding what the Sabbath is about. The Sabbath is not about on your day off, that on your day of rest, you can't watch no movies. You can't go to the movies. You can't be with your woman.
Right.
You can't lay with your woman. You can't go play pool at your local pool hub.
Right.
You can't play the video game. You can't go to the beach with your children on your day off.
Right.
See, the problem is a lot of people, whether they realize it or not, are Jewish.
Right.
Even people that know they're Israelites, outside of the I.S.U.P.K, of course, people that know they're Israelites and SHALAM or, whatever they say, they're Jewish.
Right.
Because when it comes to the Sabbath day, they don't understand that the Sabbath is not meant to further oppress you.
Right.
You mean to tell me I work six days, I'm busting my behind, I get to see my child maybe 1 or 2 hours before I'm too tired, I go to sleep, and I gotta on the day I have off, I can't take my daughter to the park.
Right.
I gotta take my son to go play basketball on my day off.
Right.
Let the Jewish tell you, let fake Israelites tell you, that's a sin. And that is incorrect. And we're here to smash that lie. We just proved it in Deuteronomy, the 5th chapter.
Right.
That is, listen, let's get some more. Exodus 31 and 13. Let's get it.
Come, sir.
Let's get it.
Come, I got it right here.
Let's get it.
The book of Exodus, chapter 30, verse 13.
Mm-hmm.
This day shall give everyone that passeth among them that are numbered.
Mm-hmm. This is 31 and 13.
It's a lot. This is 30 and 13.
31 and 13. No sweat. Exodus chapter 31, verse 13.
The book of Exodus, chapter 31, verse 13.
Mm-hmm.
Speak thou also unto the children of Israel, saying, verily, my Sabbaths ye shall keep.
Right.
For it is a sign.
What is the Sabbath? It's a sign. It's a token of what?
Between me and you throughout your generations.
Keep going.
that ye may know that I am the Lord that doth sanctify you.
Mm-hmm. Keep going.
Verse 14, ye shall keep the Sabbath, therefore, for it is holy unto you.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone that defile it shall surely be put to death.
Mm-hmm.
For whosoever doeth any work therein, that so...
Stop. It is, the Most High didn't say, ye shall keep the Sabbath, therefore, for it is holy unto you. Everyone that defileth it shall surely be put to death, for whosoever. Now, here's reading comprehension comes into play.
Right.
It doesn't say, and working, right?
Right.
It says, for. He's telling you how you defile the Sabbath.
Right.
Like, it's saying it right there.
Right.
Keep going.
For whosoever doeth any work therein, that soul shall be cut off from among his people.
Keep going.
6 days may work be done, but in the seventh is the Sabbath of rest, holy to the Lord. Whosoever doeth any work in the Sabbath day, he shall surely be put to death.
That's the law. Keep going.
Wherefore, the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath to observe the Sabbath throughout their generations for a perpetual covenant.
An everlasting covenant. Read on.
It is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever.
How long?
Forever.
How long?
Forever.
Read on.
For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day he rested.
And we know how the Lord made heaven and earth. The Most High's, it wasn't the Most High's big hands mold. No, the Lord, it was the angels that went to work. The Lord gave the angels a break. Not that the angels, was breaking a sweat.
Right.
Right? Because they don't have the bodies like we do. But the fact that he pulled them back from working on the seventh, on what's the seventh day to him.
Right.
You see? Keep going. And was refreshed. That's all. Now, I mentioned, Blackman, you want to say anything? Go ahead.
Sir, I just want to say this. I don't want it. It's heavy. It's heavy that the Lord, right, like you touched on earlier, the Lord had mercy. He's a merciful God, because even on these other nations, right, that he sees that they're nothing but unto spittle, he even gives them a day of rest. But this oppressor, right, if it were up to him, we would have no rest, man.
Right.
This so-called white man, or Salaki, the so-called oppressor, the oppressor will never give you a day of rest.
Right.
If he could get away with it, he'll work you 25/8, man.
Oh yeah, damn right. I lived it. You lived it. Man, you had a job where, you needed this job. It's one of them rinky-dink jobs, and they worked you every day. 12-hour shifts, brother. When you go home, you're tired, man. You got no time to do anything. Yeah, you're making money, but you ain't got no time to enjoy the money that you're making. You see that? So let's go into what you can and cannot do. There's a verse in the Bible that Christians like to use, and the Jewish, Christian, one and the same family, right? That say you can't do what you want to do on the Sabbath, or specifically that you can't be intimate with your wife or your husband on the Sabbath day. Let's nip that in the bud, and let's prove that that's incorrect. Let's go to Isaiah 58:13. This is what they use. We're gonna go into the scriptures that they pull, and we're gonna break them down and explain them. All right. Now we know, we went through the precepts. You got to be paying attention. We went through the precepts of the law of the Sabbath, not working, not putting no one to work. You see? So we're going to go into that, all right? How we looking on the recording? We good? It's still recording?
Still recording, sir.
Let's get it.
All right, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 58, verse 13.
This is what they try to use to say, I'm just let it, speak for itself. Go ahead.
If thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight, the holy of the Lord, honorable, and shall honor him, not doing thy own ways, nor finding thy own pleasure, nor speaking thy own words. Then shalt thou delight thyself in the Lord, and I will cause thee to ride upon the high places of the earth.
The Most High is, because Israel, of course, is being rebellious. He's letting the children of Israel know, remember my law. Remember the Sabbath, right? If you turn away your foot from doing your pleasure, right? And then people hear pleasure and they think, sex. But the Lord is not talking about sex in Isaiah 58:13. He's not talking about sex, right? But you see what I get it. Someone unlearned taught you, and now it trickled down. The unlearnedness trickled down, and that's our job to clean it up.
Right.
Right. It's not a sin to have sex on the Sabbath.
Right.
That wasn't what we read in Exodus or Deuteronomy. Right. So let's read it one more time. Exodus 58:13. The Lord saying, if you turn away your foot from doing your pleasure on the Sabbath, you're going to be blessed in so many words.
Right.
But let's see what the pleasure is. Go ahead,
Concert. Verse 13. If thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight, the holy of the Lord honorable, and shall honor him, not doing thy own ways, nor finding thy own pleasure, nor speaking thy own words. Verse 14.
Yep.
Then shalt thou delight thyself in the Lord, and I will cause thee to ride upon the high places of the earth, and feed thee with the heritage of Jacob, thy father, for the mouth of the Lord hath spoken it.
Now, what is the pleasure? What is the pleasure? Remember, the Bible says precept upon precept. You can't just go pleasure. The Bible will say, opinion upon opinion.
Right.
You know what I mean? A personal belief upon personal belief. It's precept upon precept. So let's get the precept to show you what the pleasure is talking about. Go to Isaiah 58:3. Same chapter, same book. It's going to go up and give you some context. Everybody love that word. Context, brother. Well, I'm going to give you the context.
Right.
Isaiah 58:3.
Sir. The book of Isaiah chapter 58, verse 3. Wherefore have we fasted, say they.
This is what Israelites say. Wherefore have we fasted. Keep going.
And thou seest not. Wherefore have we afflicted our soul. And thou takest no knowledge.
And thou takest no knowledge. This is the spirit of the Israelites, of the spirit of disbelief. Keep going.
Behold, in the day of your fast, ye find pleasure, and exact all your labor.
You know why the children of Israel saying, wherefore have we fasted, say they, and thou seest not? Wherefore have we afflicted our soul, and thou takest no knowledge? Because the Israelites was in captivity.
Right.
And they felt like, why are we doing the Day of Atonement? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing that if we in slavery? And the Lord said, behold, in the day of your fast, ye find pleasure.
Right.
Ye find pleasure. How do they find pleasure? And exact all your labors. You see that?
Right.
And exact all your labors. That's the pleasure that the Most High told them to refrain from. You don't believe me? Let's look up exact. Right? Exact. The bear with me. I'm gonna get it in. I'm gonna read this one, right?
Okay.
Straight out of concordance. I got the Strong's Bible concordance right here, but I'm gonna do it on my phone just to be a little quicker, all right?
So, sir, I also got it on the Merriam-Webster's dictionary if you want that too.
Let me hear it.
This is the word exact from the Merriam-Webster's dictionary. To call for forcibly.
Keep going.
Or urgently and obtain. To call for as necessary or desirable.
Right. Now, this is the Hebrew word. It's nagash. The word exact for in the Hebrew is nagash in that verse, and it means to oppress, demanding pressure.
Good night.
This is what Israelites were doing. They were demanding pressure on their employees, on people that work for them, both man and beast.
Right.
They wasn't honoring the Sabbath by not working, by not making people work. For example, if you're a brother in the truth, Is it a sin if you're scheduled to go work and you go to work? No, you're not in the wrong. The sin is on the employer.
Right.
That's who the sin is on. Go back to Deuteronomy chapter 5. You just read it. You see? But this is what the Most High talking about, Isaiah 58:3. The pleasure is business owners have pleasure in what? Making money.
Right.
Making money. And Israel began to be so greedy like the Egyptians to where they couldn't, in their mind, afford to give you a day off. When really they were being greedy. And the Lord don't like the spirit of someone greedy. You understand? The whole spirit of, being a boss and supervisor who's making the schedule and, just feel like you feel so almighty and powerful to where you don't want to give people a day off because it'll ruin your pleasure of making money, right? That's what that's talking about. It's not talking about sex. Lord didn't mention anything. Remember, the Bible says in Romans, where there's no law, there is no sin.
Right.
And if you go in Leviticus, Exodus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, and you see, and thou shalt not lay down with thy wife on the Sabbath day, then that's a law.
Right.
But I've read the Bible 2 times over. It's not in there.
Right.
You get my point. So what's another thing they like to say, right? We nip that in the bud. Brother, if you want to lay with your woman on your day off, you don't get time to do it on the days you work.
Right.
You lay with your woman lay with your woman, man.
Right.
Lay with your woman. You'll be all right. You understand? Right. And we're going to explain that. Fake Israelites are, hating this right now. That brother, he right, but damn him. Damn the I.S.U.P.K. Well, we've been hearing that since 1969. And we're going to keep making you mad. Or just get with the truth.
Damn right.
Get right. We proving it. Let go of the traditions of man and stop being Jewish.
Right.
You see? Now let's go to Numbers chapter 15, verse 32. Another thing they like to say, which shows how Jewish our people can be, is they say, you're not supposed to cook on the Sabbath.
Right.
We're going to get when the Sabbath is, by the way. And we're going to smash the Lunar Sabbath doctrine very shortly. You can't cook on the Sabbath.
Right.
On the Sabbath day, you got to eat, cereal.
Right.
Sandwich, cold cuts, chips, candy, cold food. Right? That's what they say, man. You can't go out to eat with your woman on the Sabbath. That's a sin, brother.
So if I could, you can't do anything.
You can't do nothing. Right?
Right.
That's not a day of rest. That is oppression.
Right.
You understand? They just want you to sit in the house, lay on the bed, and look at paint dry. That's what they want you to do. Oh, damn, you can't, not paint dry, because you can't paint to watch it dry, because, God forbid you have pleasure in, painting your house and wanting to do something with your space that you live in, but you can't because you work 6 days a week. And on the day that you have off, you still can't do nothing because it's the Sabbath. Listen, leave teaching the Bible to Commander General YAHANNA. Leave teaching the Bible to the men Commander General YAHANNA gave authority to teach the Bible.
Right.
Because, listen, we're not going for it. Like Paul said, I am set at the defense of the truth. You see? Let's go. Where we at?
The book of Numbers.
There he is, 15 to 32.
The book of Numbers, chapter 15, verse 32.
Mm-hmm.
And while the children of Israel were in the wilderness, they found a man that gathered sticks upon the Sabbath day.
Now, before we made it to the promised land, we were traveling through the wilderness for, I believe, 40 years, right? Or more. But we were traveling through the wilderness where we, our loyalty was being put to the test. Keep going.
Right. And they found him gathering sticks, brought him unto Moses and Aaron and unto all the congregation.
Uh-huh.
And they put him inward because it was not declared what should be done to him.
Right. So it was the Sabbath day. Everybody was given a law of not doing what? Not to work.
Right.
This man here was gathering sticks. He was gathering sticks because whatever his business was, it required sticks.
Right.
And he was still working. He didn't stop working. Whatever his business, it doesn't go into detail of what his business was, but it required sticks. You understand?
Right.
And he had brothers picking up sticks, and they got hold of this brother. You understand? Who was given a charge to pick up and gather sticks. And what happened to this brother? Keep reading.
Khan. And the Lord said unto Moses, then the man shall surely be put to death.
Because what was, back to the law. How did Moses come to the decision to put him to death? Why?
Right. Because
in the law, Moses went back to the law. He flipped to Exodus 20 and 8. Back then, it wasn't numeric, 20 like we have today. But he went back where it was written. Boom, boom, boom. If any man works and defiles the Sabbath by working, he shall be put to death.
Right.
That's how you know that's what he was doing, because because of the judgment.
Right.
Damn. You're the Most High here, man. Listen, it's right there. Keep going.
Khan.
And Yahweh Shai. You understand? Go ahead.
The man shall surely be put to death. All the congregation shall stone him with stones.
And that brother was stoned. Read on.
Without the camp.
Keep going.
And all the congregation brought him without the camp and stoned him with stones. And he died as the Lord commanded Moses.
Yeah, and when did the Lord command Moses? In Exodus 20. Continuing on. But they'll go to, thou shalt not kindle a fire. Go to Exodus 35. I believe that's the one. Let's double check.
Concert.
We're going to get it again. Now that we know, we done laid the foundation of what the law is talking about. Exodus 35 and 3. Watch this. This is the scripture. See, no, okay, we may get that, but what about Exodus 35 and 3? We'll read it. We're not running from nothing. I'm pulling it out for you.
Right.
Go ahead.
The book of Exodus, chapter 35, verse 3. Ye shall kindle no fire throughout your habitations upon the Sabbath day.
You hear that, right? And they'll just leave it there. But let's get some context, brother. Let's get context. Give me verse 2.
Khan. The book of Exodus, chapter 35, verse 2. 6 days shall work be done.
Why? So what's the subject matter? Work.
Right.
Work. Labor. Servile work. Keep going.
But on the 7th day, there shall be to you an holy day. A Sabbath of rest to the Lord. Whosoever doeth work therein shall be put to death. Verse 3, ye shall kindle no fire.
This is a continuation of verse 2.
Come.
You see? So what, back then, right? What did you have to do to make a fire? What did you have to do? Could you just turn on the stove? Kindle a fire.
Right.
Right? That's a sin on the Sabbath?
Right.
No, that's not what that's talking about. It's talking about the work that goes into making a fire.
Right.
You understand? Gathering back then, chopping down wood.
Right.
Gathering wood. You understand? Loading it up on your dollies or what have you.
Right.
You get my point, and carrying it. You understand? The work, because you had brothers that had businesses that provided heat and things like that. You understand? That was against the law to work. That's all that's talking about. Absolutely.
Just a quick question. Where in the hell do they get that, kindling a fire and acquire that to electricity? That's another thing, right? You can't even turn the lights on the Sabbath.
You can't run hot water.
Right.
So you musty as hell on the Sabbath day. You understand? Listen, because remember, you can't do your pleasure.
Right.
So don't bathe.
Right.
Don't put on no deodorant because you like smelling good.
Right.
I like smelling good.
Right.
You understand? So don't do that. Don't brush your teeth. You're just out here dishonoring God. And furthermore, you're showing that you don't understand the Bible. That's not the purpose of the Sabbath. The purpose of the Sabbath is not to oppress you and leave you musty and funky and further oppressed. That's not the spirit of the Sabbath day as originally intended.
Right.
But Judaism, you're following Judaism, who they don't turn the lights on themselves on the Sabbath day. They don't cook on the Sabbath day. They don't enjoy hot meals on the Sabbath day. They rush and bombard Target and Walmart an hour before the sun goes down.
Right.
You understand? That is not the spirit of the Sabbath. That's the spirit of Judaism. That's the spirit of Amalek. That has nothing to do with God. That's not what, when Moses described the Sabbath day, he wasn't talking about what the Jewish man does today. What they doing is not biblical, like everything else they do.
Right.
You want to be Jewish? When you circumcise your son, give that child fellatio. If you want to be Jewish so damn bad. That's what they believe in. You understand? The rabbis sucking on infants' rods, Salakia.
Good night.
And you gonna learn the Sabbath from him? Right. I don't think so. I'm gonna learn the Sabbath from a black man by the name of Commander General YAHANNA. You understand? Right. Who got it from Christ. Who got it from the Most High. You see? Continuing on, right? Let's go to Nehemiah. Another issue. Another thing they like to bring up is you can't buy and sell on the Sabbath.
Right.
You can't buy, brother. You can't sell on the Sabbath. You can't. That's what they say. Excuse me. So if your child is sick and in need of medicine on the Sabbath day, God forbid you go buy medicine.
Right.
If you getting off the slave, right? The sun go down at 6:30, and you get off the slave at 6:30, but you ain't got no gas in your whip, right? I guess you're supposed to go, just run out of gas and be on the freeway, be stuck on the freeway,
right?
for the Sabbath day, because it's the Sabbath day. You see how that sounds? Right. It's comical, but it's so dangerous to think like that, because these are the same people who make their children fast on the Day of Atonement.
Right.
You know how evil that is. You run out of gas on the Sabbath day. Okay, go buy you some gas on the Sabbath day. I don't run out of gas on the Sabbath day. I'm not a coward, and I understand the law of God. If my daughter needs diapers, I go buy her diapers on the Sabbath day.
Right.
You gonna let her sit there and defecate herself? I bought it before. You understand? Oh yeah, I hear you. Right? I'm gonna get her on the Sabbath day, because I'm gonna get these diapers for my daughter so we can enjoy a day at the park, so we can have a nice day at the movies,
right,
on the Sabbath day. Right, man. But let's read the scripture that they use to try and justify that point. Let's get Nehemiah. We good on the recordings and everything? On the ones and twos?
Sir.
Let me see. No, you good. You good. Nehemiah 10 and 31. This is what they use. Let me go there with you.
Sir.
Mm-hmm.
Ready to go. I don't want
to. Let's get it.
Book of Nehemiah, chapter 10, verse 31.
Mm-hmm.
And if the people of the land bring ware of any victuals on the Sabbath day to sell, that we would not buy it of them on the Sabbath or on the holy day, and that we would leave the 7th year and the exaction of every debt.
Now, this is not talking about just buying and selling, because again, there's no law against buying and selling. So what was the spirit behind what Nehemiah was saying and doing? we was amongst heathens, and the heathens didn't respect the fact that we had a Sabbath day, and we were sleeping with heathens, and Nehemiah was showing us that we need to showing the heathens that we need to separate from them, and that we need to separate from the heathens. You see, and so when the spirit of what Nehemiah is saying is, we have a day of rest where we don't work, because I'm gonna show you that's what the heathens was making us do. And we're not going to support the fact that you're making us work.
Right.
So go to Nehemiah 13 and 15. I'm going to show you. This is what Nehemiah said. Go ahead.
The book of Nehemiah.
No sweat. Nehemiah 13 and 15.
Book of Nehemiah, chapter 13, verse 15.
Let's see what these heathens was having us do.
In those days saw I in Judah some treading wine presses on the Sabbath.
Doing what?
Some treading wine presses on the Sabbath.
Treading wine presses on the Sabbath. Treading wine. Like back then, there was no machines to make wine. You had to physically get on this machine, as you see on the screen, and you had to stomp on them grapes. You ever see them old Ocean Spray commercials?
Right.
Where they stomping them cranberries to give you cranberry juice. Right? That's I mean, they still do that today, but they have machines to press the grapes and, ferment the grapes. But back then, brother, that labor was manual.
Right.
And the heathen and Israelites following the heathen who decided to be like the heathen and not close their business, to not close their wine business and make brothers tread. He said, I saw Judah treading on the wine presses on the Sabbath day. Why would he note on the Sabbath day? Because that was a sin for them to do. Keep going.
Right. And bringing in sheaves and lading asses.
And working. Go ahead.
As also wine, grapes, and figs, and all manner of burdens, which they brought into Jerusalem on the Sabbath day. And I testified against them in the day wherein they sold victuals.
You see that, right? They're meaning don't deal with these heathens, because with Nehemiah, the Nehemiah was showing us that we have to separate from these heathens. Don't do business with these heathens. Not that because it's the Sabbath, don't do business with these heathens, but totally distance yourself from the heathens. At one point, he had us leave the children we had with heathen women and the heathen women. Right. That's what Nehemiah was reinforcing, man, because Israel began to be influenced and so impressionable by these Hamitic nations and by these other nations outside of Israel, heathens. You see? Now let's go to Mark chapter 2.
Okay.
Let's go to Mark chapter 2 and let's nip this in the bud. As far as what you can and cannot do on the Sabbath, and most importantly, the purpose of the Sabbath. If you're a Black, Hispanic, Native American, Indian, God said that you deserve a day of rest. Hell, you look at everything we go through. Damn, can I get a break? Right. Can I get a day off where I do what I want to do? No. I gotta sit there and in the dark. Give me a damn break, bro. I could tell y'all why y'all was shy for this truth.
Damn right.
Where we at? Mark chapter 2, verse 23.
Khan. Verse 20, the book of Mark, chapter 2, verse 23. And it came to pass that he went through the cornfields on the Sabbath day. And
so Christ and the disciples went through the cornfield on the Sabbath day. Read on.
And his disciples began, as they went, to pluck the ears of corn. And the Pharisees said unto him.
Notice, Matthew noted that it was on the Sabbath day. And the disciples began to pluck ears of corn. Meaning, look, there was no machines back then. Them brothers had to grab a machete out or whatever tool they use, cut it, remove all the excess off the cob of corn. Right? All them strings and, probably hot outside and, you know what I mean? and they working and whatnot. And as far as I understand, you don't just eat raw corn.
Right.
You get my point? You don't just eat raw corn.
Right.
I mean, nowadays, what do? This shows you how practical the Bible is. You cook your corn.
Right.
It doesn't say that, but I imagine that they wasn't eating raw corn.
Right.
You understand? You butter that corn up. You throw it in some hot water. Right. How you get the water hot? Hello. You understand? You know how Israelites do, how we cook corn. How does Issachar cook corn?
Man, we boil it. We
roast it over fire.
Yeah,
come on, man. You think you let the white man tell you they just was eating with the leaves all over, just biting into it? No.
Right.
Come on, man. Keep going.
Come on. And it came to pass that he went through the cornfields on the Sabbath day, and his disciples began as they went to pluck the ears of corn. Mm-hmm. And the Pharisees said unto him, Behold, why do they on the Sabbath day that which is not lawful?
Why are they kindling the fire? Why are they working? Why are they doing that which is unlawful? This is because throughout the years, the leadership of Israel grew corrupt, and they began to lean onto the traditions of man rather the true understanding and the spirit of the law.
Right.
Keep going.
Come on.
So Christ is going to explain to them that they're not going off. Go ahead.
Come on. And he said unto them, mm-hmm. Have ye never read what David did? Mm-hmm. When he had need and was an hungered, mm-hmm. he and they that were with him, how he went into the house of God in the days of Abiathar, mm-hmm. the high priest, mm-hmm. and did eat the shewbread, mm-hmm. which is not lawful to eat before the priests, mm-hmm. and gave also to them which were with him.
Right.
And he said unto them, The Sabbath was made for man, and not man for the Sabbath.
Right.
Therefore, the Son of Man is Lord also of the Sabbath.
Right. Now, read that last part again. He basically broke down, like the priests had what's known as the showbread in the temple to give that warm ambiance in the temple, in the holy of holies, right? And that the priest, the hence showbread, the priest made fresh showbread every day, including on the Sabbath. And the showbread was to show that the priests were taken care of. The priests ate, that the priests had food, that the Lord provided for the priests. That's showbread, right?
Right.
Which is why we have it in our Sabbath services. You see the big loaves of bread, showbread, right? Rehearsing the righteous acts. And David, that was initially for the priests, but David, when he was running from Saul, right, fleeing the evil mind of Saul and him attempting to murder David came through where the showbread was into the priest, and he was starving on the run, and he ate of the showbread, which, was uncommon. You understand? But the larger matter is this, that David didn't sin for eating because he was hungry.
Right. Just
like the disciples didn't sin for eating because they were hungry on the Sabbath day.
Right.
You understand? But the Pharisees and the scribes and their corrupt leadership, like now, looked to oppress people. Like fake Israelites, Christians, Jewish people.
Right.
When they read the Bible, they look for things to hurt people.
Right.
To further oppress people.
Right.
To further make people miserable. We teach the Bible to heal you.
Right.
To correct you. You teach me I gotta sit in the dark on the Sabbath. Christ told me in the last two verses of Mark, chapter 2, verse 27. Read that one more time.
Khan. And he said unto them, so like you said, 2 and 7, sir?
2 and 27.
Khan. And he said unto them, the Sabbath was made for man, and not man for the Sabbath.
The Sabbath, this is everything we done brought out. From Exodus, the Leviticus, and Deuteronomy, and Numbers. Everything we brought up. Everything I said is right here in this verse.
Right.
The Sabbath, read it one more time.
Concert.
Yahweh Shai, say it.
And he said unto them,
What'd he say?
The Sabbath was made for man, and not man for the Sabbath.
Keep going.
Therefore, the Son of Man is Lord also of the Sabbath.
The Sabbath was made for man, and not man for the Sabbath.
Right.
Therefore, the Son of Man is Lord of the Sabbath.
Right.
Now, who's the Son of Man? Man. Back then, like, you know, we'd be like, man. Back then, it was Son of Man because we are sons of Adam.
Right.
You see that? Christ is the Son of Man. Wasn't Ezekiel referenced to as the Son of Man?
Right.
Right? The Israelite man is Son of Man. The Sabbath was not made, man was not made for the Sabbath, but the Sabbath was made for the man, right?
Right.
My question is this. Do you serve the Sabbath, or does the Sabbath serve you?
Right.
And once you understand that question, then you understand what Christ meant when he said what he just said. So I ask you, what is the purpose of the Sabbath? The purpose of the Sabbath is to serve me, because I'm Lord over the Sabbath.
Right.
I'm going to do what I want to on my day off.
Right.
You understand? I'm going to go to the movies because I don't have that opportunity on the days I slave. I'm going to take a stroll down Santa Monica Pier on the Sabbath day because it's my day off. I need some R&R. I need to relax.
Right.
But you let these other people tell it. They serve the Sabbath.
Right.
But that's not what the Sabbath was given to us for. Sabbath was meant and always meant to serve us.
Right.
To where the employer didn't have a choice to give us a day off because God said that we are promised a day off 1 day a week.
Right.
At least 1 day a week. You understand? So that's that. That's pretty clear, right? You want to say something, Priest?
That's a lot, sir. It's like, that's heavy because it's like these other, fake Israelite groups and Christians, right? Like you just brought out, man. Like they try to make the Sabbath seem like it's like some day, that you're supposed to suffer on or something.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you said, a day to oppress you because you can't you got to be in the dark. You can't heat up your food.
Right. Now I will say this. You're a priest.
Right.
If you're a priest in the school, brother, listen. Unless camp is clipped.
Right.
Unless the Sabbath,
right.
You understand? You can't have sex on the Sabbath.
Right.
You can't because we need you at camp.
Right.
We need you at the event.
So like, sir, if I could add to that, right? And that's not because, it's a command. It's because of laws of uncleanliness.
Right. Exactly. It's because you can't go to camp unclean.
Right.
You can't go to class unclean. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you can't do that. But what I mean, and if you know, you know. Right. But I'm explaining it. You a brother in the school, you got camp tomorrow, you can't get unclean.
Right.
We need you at camp.
Right.
You got to go to camp. You understand? So you got to get with your woman after.
Right.
You understand? Ain't no sin. Now, is it a sin to be unclean? No. It's a sin to be unclean and show up to camp.
Right.
Okay, some cases, some brothers get unclean any damn way.
Right.
And then they're not available. I'm not available. Why are you not available? I'm unclean.
Oh, man.
That's kind of like, come on, Act.
Right.
You was the fifth man we needed. Now, none of us can go to camp.
Right.
You know what I mean? To keep protocol for protocol's sake. But is it a sin? No. In that case, it's like, damn, brother, you can hold out for,
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but everybody gets what I'm saying. So now, when is the Sabbath, brother?
Friday sundown, sir.
Yeah, we know it's Friday sundown, Saturday sundown, but there's a doctrine out there that says that, we got to go off of the lunar Sabbath, the lunar moon, or the lunar, excuse me, the moon phases That determins, the Sabbath. Let me explain to you what the lunar Sabbath doctrine is, and I'm gonna summarize it for you. For those of you that don't know, majority of fake Israelites follow this, and it's a testament to how unlearned we are as a nation of people,
right?
Following these silly doctrines, right? But not in here. The lunar Sabbath doctrine consists of every month, right? Every month is, the new moon lands on a different day of the week.
Right.
Every month. The new moon may land on May 30th. I checked it out last night. May 30th is going to be the new moon.
Okay.
Right? And so people who follow that doctrine say, okay, so for this month, the Sabbath is going to be Tuesday sundown to Wednesday sundown for this month. And then the next month, it'll be June 28th. The Sabbath, the new moon lands on Thursday night.
Right.
You understand? So now, for this month, the Sabbath is going to be Thursday night to Friday night. That's the synopsis and belief of the lunar Sabbath. But there's cracks in that doctrine.
Right.
There's holes that prove that cannot be the Sabbath of God. That you don't base the Sabbath on the new moon. You understand? So what I want you to do, before I do that, let's show how, crazy this is. Let's go to, I'm going to show them, right? If you go on lunar or moonphases.com or look up when the next new moon will be, right?
Okay, sir.
You see that it's May 30th. May 30th is the next new moon.
Okay.
Which would mean that what? Let's go to our calendars now. As you see on the screen, May 30th will be Monday sundown to Tuesday sundown. That'll be that Sabbath for the week. For the month, right? So let's look at it. Let's do some math. May 30th, right? Sundown. So let's count. Tuesday, 1. Next day, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's a Sabbath. That's one Sabbath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 13th. That's 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 3 Sabbaths. Monday sundown to Tuesday sundown, right? Because that's the Monday for this month would be the beginning of the Sabbath. You understand?
Right.
1 now the 21st. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But hold on now. The new moon is going to be on the 28th. So you skip a day.
Good night.
That's not 7 days.
Right.
You understand? That's 8 days. That every time, and they call it transitional days. The Bible don't speak about no damn transitional days.
Right.
The cycle of the Sabbath is every 7 days.
Right.
Every 7 days. It doesn't say based on the new moon. You understand? But you see what I'm saying? That last Sabbath, it's not going to be on Monday sundown no more.
Right.
It's going to be on Tuesday sundown, which would mean that you get to work your employees on that day.
Right.
You understand? You don't get no day off on the last week of the month. You got to wait till the new month. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
That's a flaw.
Right.
And in the truth, there are no flaws.
Right.
The 7-day cycle, the 7-day system that the Most High set up that Israelites has been following, and what we follow in the Israelite school UPK is unflawed.
Right.
You understand? Another point. Give me Leviticus 23.
Come on, sir.
Leviticus 23 lets you know what a holy day is. Or what's a Sabbath day. The Sabbath day, the Passover is a Sabbath day. The Day of Atonement is a Sabbath day.
Okay.
Right? Or a holy day. That's what the Sabbath is. Right? You have to take that day off to be able to observe that holy day.
Right.
You understand? Now the point is this. in Leviticus, the 23rd chapter, there's a holy day known as the Feast of Weeks. There's a Feast of Weeks in the Bible. What is the Feast of Weeks? Give me Leviticus 23 and 15.
Come, sir.
Let me show you how incorrect that ideology is. Go ahead.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 15. And ye shall count unto you from the morrow after the Sabbath,
Right?
from the day that ye brought the sheaf of the wave offering, 7 Sabbaths shall be complete.
Right. 7 Sabbaths shall be complete. This is referring to, like, when you read Acts, I believe the 12th chapter or the 2nd chapter, where it talks about how the disciples kept Pentecost. Penta in Greek is 50. You understand? They were honoring, they were observing the Feast of Weeks, not Easter. You understand? But Pentecost meant they was keeping and observing the Feast of Weeks. With the Feast of Weeks consisted of us keeping track of 7 Sabbaths, and then after the 7th Sabbath on the 50th day was deemed a holy day. But my question is this: if we're doing it based on the lunar moon, stay with me, right?
Right.
If we're doing it based on the lunar moon, we know that, let's say, for example, let's say the new moon is Monday, May 30th, right? So you do the count. 1, then on the first 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right? 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 21. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold on. 6. You got to jump now because the new moon is going to be on the 28th. 8. 9. 7. So that's going to be another Sabbath. Listen, the calculations is going to be incorrect.
Right.
Because to number 40, it says to number 7 Sabbaths, and that'll equal 49 days. But based on the new moon, if you number 7 Sabbaths, you're going to have about 52, 53 days.
Right.
And that shows you that system is flawed.
Right.
How do you keep the Feast of Weeks it's a double Sabbath, right? That's not what that's talking about, man. Give me a break.
Right.
We just showed how that's flawed. Also, too, let me show you how the new moon is, they worship the new moon. Right. The new moon had its purpose, right? The new moon is not a Sabbath in itself. The Sabbaths are found in Leviticus, the 23rd chapter. What's deemed a Sabbath, what's deemed not a Sabbath. Like, for example, the Passover is a holy day.
Right.
Day of Atonement, Feast of Weeks, a Feast of Booths, right? But the Feast of Purim is not.
Right.
The Feast of Dedication is not. It's not a holy day. It's a memorial.
Oh, God.
You understand? Now, unless it lands on Friday, Sunday, Saturday, it's a Sabbath and it's the Feast of Purim or the Feast of Dedication, right?
Oh, God.
Or Hanukkah, also known as. Let's look at Colossians 2 and 16.
Oh, God, sir.
Let's show the difference between the new moon and the Sabbath. We don't base our Sabbaths on the new moon or when the new moon takes place. The 7-day cycle or the 7-day period is never interrupted under any circumstance, no matter what phase the moon is in. Let's get Colossians chapter 2, verse 16.
Come on, sir.
Mm-hmm.
The book of Colossians chapter 2, verse 16.
Uh-huh.
Let no man therefore judge you in meat or in drink or in respect of an holy day.
Or in respect of an holy day. Keep going.
Or of the new moon.
Or of the new moon.
Or of the Sabbath
days.
Or
of the Sabbath days. Now, if it was talking about the new moon, why didn't he just nip that in bud with holy day or Sabbath days?
Right.
Because that's not what the new moon's purpose was. The purpose of the new moon is this. And go to Isaiah. I believe it's 65:24.
Come on, sir.
This is what they use. Unknowingly, how to break it down. I believe it's 65:24. Yes, that's what it is. They'll say this means the new moon is a Sabbath. Read that. Isaiah 65:24.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 65, verse 24.
Mm-hmm.
And it shall come to pass that before they call.
Oh, 65 and. Hold on. It's like it. Not that one. My bad.
No sweat on one.
It's 66. And hold on, let me see. Isaiah. Bear with me. Wait, that was it.
Okay.
You got it? 60.
65 and 24?
Let me see. 1 second. It's Isaiah 66 and 23. That's the one.
Sir.
That's the one they use. No sweat.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 66, verse 23.
Mm-hmm.
And it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another.
From 1 month to another.
And from one Sabbath to another.
And from one Sabbath to another.
Shall.
And they'll say, see, they're one and the same. No, it's saying from one new moon to another and reading comprehension and showing that there's a difference between these two and the Sabbath.
Right.
And from one Sabbath to another. Because no matter what day the new moon falls on, that 7-day cycle is never interrupted.
Right.
As we showed you with the Feast of Weeks, with that example.
Right.
Right? Where we at? Now, how do we show that? Oh, they say, show me Friday, sundown, Saturday, sundown. I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to show you that we've always followed a 7-day calendar. Well, during the time of the Romans, you know, you had the Julian calendar. Let's look up the Julian calendar. You got that information on Britannica?
Sir.
Let's look up the Julian calendar, what the Julian calendar is, first century Rome, and, you know, you get all that good information. We ain't running from nothing. We're going to bring it out to you so you understand that what you believe in is flawed and what we believe in is, you know, firm.
Right.
Steadfast, unmovable, right? Because our foundation is Christ. Didn't Christ say, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's?
Right.
I believe Christ lived during the time of the Roman Empire. Before you read that information, right, give me Luke. Give me Luke chapter 4.
Sir.
Give me Luke chapter 4, verse 16. I'm going to show them something. We're going to show them something.
Book of Luke, chapter 4, verse 16.
Mm-hmm.
And he came to Nazareth, where he had been brought up.
Christ came to Nazareth, where he'd been brought up, read on.
And as his custom was,
read on.
He went into the synagogue on the Sabbath day.
On the what?
On the Sabbath day.
He went into the synagogue on the Sabbath day, as his custom was. Meaning there was a school everybody went to on the Sabbath day.
Right.
In the first century of Rome. This day was the Sabbath day. Meaning what? The 7th day of the week.
Right.
You understand? Now, let's read about the Julian calendar. The calendar that was dominantly in force during the time of the Roman Empire. Let's read a little bit about that.
This is from the Britannica. Julian calendar, also called Old Style calendar. Dating system established by Julius Caesar as a reform of the Roman Republican calendar. By the 40s BCE, the Roman civic calendar was 3 months ahead of the solar calendar. Caesar, advised by the Alexandrian astronomer Sosigenes, introduced the Egyptian solar calendar, taking the length of the solar year as 365 1/4 days. The year was divided into 12 months, all of which had either 30 or 31 days, except February, which contained 28 days in common, 365 years, and 29 in every fourth year, a leap year of 366 days.
Right.
Leap years repeated February 23rd. There was no February 29th in the Julian calendar. To align the civic and solar calendars, Caesar added days to 446 BCE so that it contained 445 days.
Right. So in the Julian calendar, you had 8 days.
Come.
You understand? It tells you in Daniel 7, chapter 25th verse, that this man looketh to change times and laws. We all clear on that. Leap years and, daylight saving times, all those things. But during that time, Israelites still maintain a 7-day Sabbath. Because how do I know? And I'm gonna read you this information. Is it a little bit more on that?
Go
ahead before I get that. I don't want to jump the gun.
Because of misunderstandings, the calendar was not established in smooth operation until 8 CE.
That's it on that, right?
Come.
Right. Now, give me the excerpt from that book I shot you. Is going to be the works of Josephus. This is from the Josephus. Josephus was a Jew who lived during the first century of Rome, who was captured under Vespasian or what have you, but he had records and he applied a lot of, he left us a lot of history we can use that you might find really interesting concerning the Sabbath day. And if we kept a 7-day Sabbath, regardless of what calendar was issued, what's the word, that was enforced rather during the time of the Roman Empire. So read that, the book of Josephus.
Come with concert. The works of Josephus against Appian, book 2, page 811, section 40, subsection 282. Nay, further, the multitude of mankind itself have had a great inclination of a long time to follow our religious observances.
Remember, he's a Jew. Keep going.
For there is not any city of the Grecians, nor any of the barbarians, nor any nation whatsoever, whether our custom of resting on the seventh day have not come.
So he's saying, regardless of the calendars provided by the Romans or the Greeks, we always kept our Sabbath 7 days. Every 7 days. Every 7 days. You understand? And the Romans, the idea of a calendar, the idea of a week came from us. It came from the Israelites. Give me the next one. Give me what now on the Julian calendar, the day of Saturn. This is where you got to stick with me. The day of Saturn was day 7. Hence Saturday.
Right.
You get my point? Even though they had 8 days on their calendar, right?
Right.
But let's look at when the Romans attacked Israelites during, the siege of Jerusalem, right? There was a Roman soldier, named Julius Frontinus, and the writings compiled are known as Stratagemmaticon, and we're going to read from his lips of this man that lived in the first century of Rome. What he said, the strategy they used, hence Stratagemmaticon, against the Jews, right? Remember, keep in mind that Saturn, the day of Saturn, is Saturday today. You understand? On a Julian calendar. Regardless of, they had 9 days on their calendar, right? So go to Stratagemmaticon. This is this historical excerpt, if you will.
Sir. This is Strategematicon by Julius Frontinius, page 98. The defied Vespasian attacked the Jews on the day of Saturn.
On what day?
The day of Saturn.
On what they recognized as the Romans, they recognized as the day of Saturn, but they attacked the Jews on the day of Saturn. Why? Keep going.
A day on which it is sinful for them to do any business. And so defeated them.
And so defeated us. Why? What's a day we wasn't supposed to have, be working?
The Sabbath.
The Sabbath day. So their Saturn day, they knew that their Saturn day, but to us, Sabbath day.
Right.
And so they strategically moved on us. Because that's when, we was a little bit more, had, our guard was a little down. We wasn't working and stuff like that. And so they strategically moved on us. And they learned that from somebody.
Right.
Right? They learned that from somebody. You got that Roman History by Dio Cassius. Roman History by Dio Cassius.
Sir.
Read that.
Roman History by Dio Cassius, Volume 8.
This is a Roman historian as well. Keep going.
Page 271. Thus was Jerusalem destroyed on the very day of Saturn, the day which even now the Jews reverence most.
That's what's that? The Sabbath day. Their Saturn day, our seventh day, the Sabbath day of rest. You see that? But they knew that what they call Saturn day, we observed because we had a 7-day weekly cycle as Israelites. Now, from the Julian calendar, this is where they try, but you follow the Gregorian calendar. Let's take a look at the like in 1582, Pope Gregory the 13th instituted this calendar, right? And what people say is, but he added days, right? He added days numerically. He didn't add days in the week, right? It was compressed to a 7-day week, and it was the year 1582 in the month of October, where it went from, I believe, Thursday, October 4th, to the next day, Friday, October 15th. Right? He didn't have the power to stretch days. I mean, how do you do that in the first place? You understand? But he just changed the dates. Right. That's the Gregorian calendar, right? Read what you got on the Gregorian calendar.
Sir. The Gregorian calendar. The Gregorian calendar is today's internationally accepted civil calendar and is also known as the Western or Christian calendar. 12 irregular months. The Gregorian calendar is the most widely used calendar in the world today. It is the calendar used in the international standard for representation of dates and times. It is a solar calendar based on a 365-day common year, divided into 12 months of irregular lengths. 11 of the months have either 30 or 31 days, while the second month, February, has only 28 days during the common year. However, nearly every 4 years is a leap year,
right,
when one extra or intercalary day is added on.
Right.
29 February, making
which still doesn't interfere with a 7-day cycle. You understand? Keep going.
Making the leap year in the Gregorian calendar 366 days long. The days of the year in the Gregorian calendar are divided into 7-day weeks.
Into what?
7-day weeks.
Keep going.
And the weeks are numbered 1 to 52 or 53.
Right.
The international standard is
now the order of, you have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right? Those are really day one. Sunday is day one. Monday is day two. Tuesday is day 3, and so on and so forth up until Saturday, day 7. Really Friday night, day 7, the beginning of day 7 or the Sabbath day, right? He only changed the numbers of the days. You understand? But not the order of the week. The order of the week did not change at all. You understand? Let's look at a quote from a man by the name of Dr. Charles Totten, a professor of astronomy at Yale University. And this is a quote from his book that he wrote, known as Joshua's Long Day and the Tao of Ahaz, on page 78. You got that, priest? Let's look at what he said.
This is by Dr. Charles Tolan, Joshua's Long Day and the Tao of Ahaz, page 78. In spite of all our dickerings with the calendar,
in spite of all the Gregorian calendar and the Julian calendar, the Sabine calendar, right? Keep going.
It is patent that the human race never lose the septenary sequence of weekdays, and that the Sabbath of these latter times comes down to us from Adam.
Damn. Keep going.
Through the ages, without a single lapse.
You hear that, right? Without a single lapse. You understand? It's always been 7 days, 7 days, 7 days, 7 days, 7 days. A week, 7 days. And the Jews always referenced it. And we just proved it when the Romans attacked us on their day of Saturn, our Sabbath day.
Right.
That's all. And that shows you. And Christ kept that Sabbath.
Right.
Christ kept Friday sundown, Saturday sundown as the Sabbath, man. You understand? And that's plain and simple. And that's the Sabbath day. It's not the lunar moon. It's not, based on the new moon. The 7-day Sabbath is every 7 days. It's a 7-day cycle. We proved that with the Feast of Weeks. You understand? The new moon was the day that we offered our burnt offerings and sacrifices and things of that nature. It served this purpose. You read Psalms, the 81st chapter, it tells you that. Numbers, the 28th chapter and the 11 verses tell you that. And that's all we got for you.
Right.
You understand? Like, that's all you need to show you what you can and cannot do on the Sabbath, what's lawful to do on the Sabbath, what the purpose of the Sabbath is. Is the Sabbath, do you serve the Sabbath or does the Sabbath serve you?
Right.
When is the Sabbath? We just proved that we've always, as Israelites, followed a 7-day cycle, and just so happens they call Friday, they call day 6 Friday. Right. Well, that's just day 6. Because the Most High didn't give the days names. Right. They named the names of the week. They just put names on the days.
Right.
But we've always been on a 7-day cycle. You understand? So
right.
This has been another edition of Practical Knowledge, man. We're the Israelite School of UPK, undefeated as always.
Damn
Big
right.
ups to Commander General YAHANNA. Big ups to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua for this truth, man. You understand what I'm saying? You understand? And with that, shalom.